Whoops, there we go. Hey guys, it is a wild ride today. So, what we've had going on for the majority of the session is a reaction to that PPI number. That's made it difficult to find places to place these trades, to get in front of these opportunities because we're just up, and away from all the confluence. So every time we think we're getting confluence on something, it gets away from us, right? It just extends the rally further in the direction that we were going. Had a couple of good opportunities today. Had a couple of things that turned around and took us out for small losses. No big deal here, but it's been that kind of a thing. If you're trying to fade this today, it's been a world of hurt. So with that said, let's take a look at the charts and see where we've been and where we are and where I think we might be going a little bit later in the session. Here you see it. This is the triple Q. So that reaction to the PPI number, yeah, it was big. Somebody sent me a thing asking, it's 0.1% versus 0.2%. Is that really that big of a deal? And it just has been. It's anything that indicates that inflation, those producer price numbers, that's producer inflation, that's an indicator of where the whole economy is going. That coming in lower than expected is going to be good news for the markets, and that's going to send the markets higher. And that's exactly what happened today. So you see we've had this big trend up here. And over the course of the session, I mean, earlier in the day, there was a good opportunity to go, and fade back down in. This is a very high probability trade just because of the excursion here. So you've got this line, right, which represents second resistance on the intraday charts. It's not one of these like really high probability trades today because of where we opened, but it still indicates a pretty high probability that you're going to get a reversal back down to it once you get above. That, however, played out one time, and then the second time that we had the move up, which is usually a pretty good one, right? Second mouse gets the cheese, all that kind of stuff. It didn't come back down. Instead, it did this thing. So as this rode higher, we had the opportunity to find some long side trades. We just finally had one that came into confluence. Not quite. It was just about when I was starting, trying to get this live stream together, so I didn't manage to catch it. But if you did, that's great. If you didn't, that's okay too, just because it never came down and hit the real confluence objective, which would be down here at 2 standard deviations out. And that 2 standard deviation mark overlapped very nicely with this support and resistance threshold and some of this volume by price stuff. And really the 2SD mark would have got you down into this anchored volume weighted average price. The bias for the day, even though we are so extended, I'm going to say is still higher. We're looking for a move that continues higher and then just drags back down again to a minor inflection point and then gets you back up again. I think that at this point, this second resistance line here, this is actually the fulcrum for the day. This is where we're oscillating. This has become the de facto central pivot, new value line. And, someone sent a question a little bit earlier about, where do I think that the market could go? And, the reality is on the bigger time frame, it's, QQQs have about 30 points of upside from where they opened this morning that they could chew through if the market news continues to be positive. So you would need to keep seeing information that indicates that inflation is in check, that maybe the next round of interest rate hikes would be the last round of interest rate hikes, talking about a soft landing. All that stuff is good for the market, good for the QQQs, in particular the NDX 100. This one's pretty easy to predict in terms of where it's going. The Dow, not so much, right? Those diamonds are not as easy to pinpoint in terms of what's going to happen based on just this particular economic news. Qs isolate the activity, take out the banks, take out the oils, give you a nice reading on what the tech sector is doing, and I think that one tends to get the best reactions to the good news that goes on in the markets. So other than that, I mean, if you're looking at these charts, as I said, just try to focus your energy on moves that are powering to the upside and then giving you some sort of sideways channel here that's trading in the box and trading in line with some of these 2SD gaps here. So one of the things that this is most useful for is seeing when it's widening and when it's contracting. When it's contracting, it's going to make for some easier trade entries, especially on those futures. You don't have as much slip, right? A few pennies on the futures can really add up in a big hurry and lead to some major slippage. Whereas on the triple Qs, you're going to get more precise entries, but the moves aren't going to be as big. But when these are narrowing like this, it's a good indication that we can take trades in the direction of the trend. Trend is definitely your friend. Landry, he used to say all the time, if you can't see the big blue line on the chart, you shouldn't be trading in the first place. But big blue line obviously today is up, up and away. So let's not fight it. Let's look for the opportunities that go and capitalize on what the market's doing instead of trying to be contrarian and fading it. Okay, so that is it for me. That's my 2 cents. It's been sparse today, not a bunch of trades, but we'll see going into the rest of the session if we get some nice pullbacks into those ranges that we were looking at. In the interim, if you guys are interested in seeing us in Orlando, go ahead and click on the Orlando Super Vol Saturday event. That's going to be a lot of fun. Go through this stuff, go through how to put together these trades, how to structure these things, and I think it's going to be a really good time. Again, I think it'll fill up fast. It's going to be the same kind of a deal as what we had going on in Vegas: 20 seats, 20 people, and lots of interaction, so that we can go back and forth and really figure out how to tweak your trading. All right, have a great trading day, and I will see everybody. If not later, I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, bye.